welcome back to Cinema Corner. I'm Blake, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Alex and Josh.
And today we're doing Cinematask Volume 12. I have the list right here, boys. Last time I assigned Josh Arrival. Josh assigned Blake Fargo. And Blake assigned me Black Bag. I might as well just go first. So Black Bag. Okay, this movie is, I believe, exactly 90 minutes long. It's an hour and a half long. I was expecting a different kind of movie than what I got. Not necessarily bad, but it was definitely that kind of slow burn drama thriller spy movie rather than like a action heavy spy movie, if that makes sense. So basically, the premise is there's a couple played by Fassbender and Cate Blanchett. They're both spies, and they host a dinner party with like 4 other people, and they basically play a game while they're eating dinner. And this entire time, you get to see everyone's personality, and especially George, who is Michael Fassbender's character. And he has this innate ability to tell like when someone's lying. So they're going around playing this game. Somebody gets his like hand stabbed by his not girl. It's kind of weird. And then it just kind of breezes on. And then you start to get a little bit of the plot of the movie. You get a ticket from a movie that the main guy, George, sees in the trash bin, and then he starts to question his wife about it. She doesn't really know anything about it, and then this is when like the plot really starts to go into it. He starts to question whether or not the wife is. Oh shoot! Now I remember. There's a scene before that. Basically, he's tasked with taking out someone who has like a supposed leak inside of the agency, and they suspect it's his wife. So that was the very first scene. Now I remember. And then he starts seeing that, and he starts to question whether or not it's his wife who is behind all this. Basically, the plot unfolds, and it reaches a point where he thinks that it's his wife, and then they realize, wait a minute, perhaps this was a setup. And they both get together, and they're like, yeah, this is a setup, because there's 2 people that attended that party seemingly feels like it's a trap. They're like setting them up against each other, and that's basically what the whole movie is when you're in an agency like this, are you willing to take out your loved one who is also a part of the same agency if they did something wrong against your own country, basically family or country. And they're not to be fucked with. They go through the process of elimination, essentially, where at the very end they get the whole crew back together again. And instead of a fun game, it's definitely more of like whoever loses this game is going to get shot. And we found out it's the guy actually told George that perhaps his wife was the one behind the leak. And his wife does the deed, and she shoots him in the head. And that's essentially the movie. It was a good movie. It's a little bit on the slower side, but overall good performances, well shot. Rare cameo from Pierce Brosnan, which, I mean, to have a guy like that in the movie, and he's only in it for like what felt like 5 minutes maybe total, was kind of odd. But if that's what Soderbergh wanted to do, fine. But overall, I give this movie a 7.7 out of 10.
Interesting.
I saw the I saw like the Rotten Tomatoes score. It's like a 94.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Very high.
I liked it.
That's a bit high.
So Josh gave me Fargo. I did not watch Fargo. Josh, would you like to go next?
Yes.
What?
I got assigned Arrival. We won't explain till later. I got assigned Arrival correctly, and
It's like a Christopher Nolan movie. The second watch, you'll understand. It all makes sense.
I'm so confused. Okay.
I've now completed the collection of Denis films with Arrival, because Enemy was the second to last, and this was the last, and I've seen them all. I think a big compliment I could say about Enemy going into this one is I wasn't that hot on Enemy, and I feel like he learned a lot of what I felt like were mistakes with Enemy, and he greatly improved upon with Arrival. It almost kind of fits the same schemes of this movie as that one, as it kind of you just don't fully know what's going on the entirety, and you kind of piece it together till the end, as well as you have a character dealing with the tragedy. That character, you follow basically a language professor, and while she's having class led by Amy Adams, which, hey man, she definitely kills it in this movie and kind of makes me wonder. I feel like I barely see her in any movies. The last movie I think I watched her in was Man of Steel. But either way, she plays as this language professor, and then these big, just cool looking spaceships come down, are just hovering, leaving no impact to an environment, and everything's kind of silent. And then that's when basically it's kind of leading on, hey, we need you to decode these noises and shit like that. When you actually get to the spaceship, I think the entire film, you're kind of questioning what genre this really is. The only thing you know about this film is that it is going to be a sci-fi film. But it teases horror, it teases romance, it teases kind of drama, like a tragedy of losing a daughter. That gets shown very in the beginning. So you're wondering how this is going to go throughout the whole film. But definitely teases with that horror element, because it is very suspenseful. It does what every Denis film does, where the soundtrack is just beautiful and really gets you into the environment. Definitely feel like he brought a lot of what he did with this film into Dune. When you see any kind of spaceships of them entering, you just can feel every impact of the audio, and you feel that with this. Definitely jealous that I did not get to see this movie in a movie theater. But essentially, this film is just about talking to some of these whack-ass aliens that land for no reason. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. And these two characters, Ian and Louise, are trying to figure out what's going on. One's a scientist. I forgot what exact science his was, but just know he's a fucking nerd. And she just deals with language, and she's a nerd about language. That's how it goes for those two. Now, throughout the whole film, you keep getting flashbacks to a daughter dying. And I think a theme of this channel is you got to make me give a shit when it comes to a kid dying. And a big compliment you can give to this film is it does make you give a shit. And that is a huge win. The reason why it makes you give a shit is because it eventually gets revealed that that kid is not even alive yet. And it pulls a Christopher Nolan on you, and nothing that you are seeing has happened yet. Only some parts have. So the daughter's not even alive yet. There's snippets where she talks about having a husband and losing a husband, but then you get revealed when she talks to Ian, the scientist, that he's like, you were married? You never even mentioned that. And so there's kind of pieces that gather where you're like, time's not making sense here, while at the same time, it's doing a very good job about a realistic approach to how the world would treat these spaceships dropping. There's a lot of riots going on because it's taking them almost a month in the middle of the film to kind of actually get a language, start speaking to the aliens. And while that's all going on, you're getting these snippets of, why is she being weird? Is she infected? You're wondering, is this going to turn into like a goddamn zombie film? All this is happening. And it all goes together when one soldier, basically a little cult of soldiers that are just listening to basically Fox News is what it's trying to elaborate, thinks, hey man, we need to fucking kill these aliens before the Chinese do. And they bring a bomb. The aliens save Louise and Ian from a bomb exploding, and one of them actually ends up dying from it. And Louise kind of at that point gets almost concussed, and that's when kind of the time of the future collapses, of where she's starting to realize these aren't just dreams. This is really, something's happening. Of how can she not remember her dead daughter's name when that is her daughter, and it really starts impacting her. And so she just goes straight back to the aliens, and the aliens reveal to her that, hey, we're here to help you guys because you guys are going to help us in 3,000 years. And she's like, how the fuck do we help you guys? And she's like, time is your weapon. And that's when it starts slowly piecing together, where it goes into the future, almost like a Christopher Nolan, like almost Tenet, where it's walking backwards of you're seeing how does she get to this point? How does she help these people? And overall, just kind of, it's just a fun little time trip where in the middle of it, you get told a beautiful story about a tragedy of a child, and it ends up making sense because you find out it ends up being the doctor, the scientist, Ian, that she gets with. And it all works. And it's kind of just a fun group of genres all in one, obviously beautifully shot because it's a Denis film and has amazing cast with it. And I really, really, really liked this film to the point that I gave it a 9.8 out of 10. I think I haven't felt an impact of that film where it just really gets you into that since Blade Runner, of how do you make me give a shit about this character when you end up finding that, you know, maybe they're not the hero of the story. And that's kind of how it goes with this film. So it was super fun. I generally recommend it to all. I know I kind of said plenty of spoilers to it, but it's still a fun movie, even if you know what's going on. I do think this is probably very Christopher Nolan influenced, just how it messes with time. Has influences from Inception. Tenet obviously wasn't made when it came, but it feels like that movie. So if you like Tenet, like those, and you're a big fan of Denis films, this is a guaranteed hit for you.
I'm so proud of myself. Look at that, man. I'm giving you like bangers left and right. I love that.
That's easy with Denis, I guess, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say, guys just picking his favorite director and doing his favorite genre of a movie made by his favorite director.
Hey, if it works, it works.
So Blake, what did you actually watch?
So I watched Argo. Josh texted me after we recorded, and he said, hey, I realized I messed up. I said Fargo. I meant to say Argo. And I was like, okay, I'll watch Argo then. So I watched Argo, not Fargo.
Wow.
This movie is based on a true story from the 19-somethings. We're going to say 70s. Could be 60s. Might even be 50s. I'm going to say 70s. It follows a true story of there was a big issue with Iran. But basically, for some reason, we had a former, I believe it is called a sheik, is their leaders, I believe. We had one of them here in the U.S., and they wanted him back because they wanted to try him for his crimes against the Iranian people and government. Because I guess, essentially, he kind of was, like, influenced by us, and we were kind of like, yo, do what we want you to do. And he was like, sure, man, so we could get money. So the Iranian people were not a fan of this sheik. And so they're like, hey, we want him back. We want him tried. Basically, they just saying we want to murder this guy in front of everybody in Iran to prove a point that we hate this guy. So they decide to take over a U.S. embassy. But before they are able to get into the embassy, we see a couple of different, not like soldiers or anything, just different people who work in the embassy in different areas, kind of see that there's like riots outside, and they're like, hey, we should probably just get out of here. This doesn't seem like a good thing. So 6 people decide we're going to sneak out the back door and leave the embassy, and then the riot all decide to charge and take over the embassy. And so these 6 Americans end up going to a Canadian ambassador. I guess it's a guy who works at a Canadian embassy, and they stay at his house because, like, you know, when you're on a foreign land, like if you have like your area is like a safe haven in a way, like you can't be tried for certain crimes and so on. So they basically go there and hide out there. And then it goes back to the U.S. and they're like, hey, the U.S. embassy was taken over, and they're demanding we return their sheik, and they'll return all these people. Until then, they're going to keep them as basically use the embassy as a prison for these Americans. And then word gets back to the CIA from Canada, like, hey, just so you know, some of your people snuck away and we have them, and like we'll keep them safe in our house, but like they can't leave the house if they're seen, like they're going to come after us. We can't risk like an issue of Iran thinking like Canada's working against them. Like we'll hide them, but we can't hide them forever. And so the CIA then talks to Tony Mendez, played by Ben Affleck, who also directed this, who is a X-File for them. So his job is to go into countries and get people out of areas. And he's basically like, okay, well, I have to get these people out. There's guards everywhere, and they're working against the clock because they're like, hey, they're going to eventually realize that some of our people snuck out because they have all the files there that people tried to destroy before the riots. But they're like, they're going to piece together a list of everybody's name and like faces and realize they're missing people. And then there's going to be a manhunt. So we need to get this done quickly. So they're trying to think of what the best way is. He's like, well, I have to take them through the airport. Like, we can't just like sneak them out or like shoot our way out of it. Like, we somehow need to get me in there, and then I need to create fake passports and fly them out of there. And so their best idea was like, hey, what if we say we were making a movie and we're Canadians? We're going to get them a bunch of fake passports and say that we're part of a movie company that was doing a movie based on like a sci-fi movie in like basically like aliens come to Iran and like meet a princess and shit. They just like made up this whole plot. And they're like, I'm going to go there. I'll meet up with them, and then we'll go to the airport and say like, hey, we're 6 Canadians. We're here for a film site. We're trying to get out. So the government's like, that's insane. That's not going to work. Like, what are you talking about? We're just going to say that you guys were shooting a movie there. And they're like, yeah, pretty much. We're scouting out a location. So then they basically rushed to put together an entire fake movie with like actual actors and like a real guy who like did the costumes for like Star Wars, which I guess is actually real, that this guy actually did do like stuff for the CIA as well as like actual Hollywood movies. And so they basically create a whole like fake production in Hollywood and like promote this movie with real actors. Like, hey, we're going to shoot this sci-fi movie. We're trying to find locations. And so then he gets into Iran, meets up with them at the Canadian embassy's guy's house. And he's like, hey, you need to get them out of here. They were talking to my housemaid. We don't think she's going to snitch on us, but like they kind of know something's going on, that we have like extra people here. So he's like, okay, yeah, in 2 days, these people need to like learn their fake Canadian background names and know what we're doing. And so then he has to do a fake, like meet with some people from Iran government with all these people to like take pictures, to like act like, oh yeah, we just flew in like 2 days ago. We're just scouting out. And they're like, something's not right here. Like, we've never seen these people. The like rebellion people learn like, hey, there's missing people. And he's like, oh fuck, we need to get out of here. But the CIA's like, nah, you just need to dip. Like, these people are fucked. Like, they're gonna learn. Just get out of there. And he's like, I can't just leave them behind. So then he decides like, nah, I'm gonna take them. They go to the airport. It's very intense. And eventually they do get through the customs. Their whole plan works. They get on a plane, and then like the whole rebellion learns like, hey, we need to stop that plane. These people are not, they're Americans. We need to get them. So as the plane's like taken off, they're like driving up on them, but like the pilot doesn't realize, so they take off and everything's all fine. And then it does the classic thing of based on true story, just like the whole, you know, afterwards shows you like the real pictures and kind of gives you some real information on the actual story, which is always interesting to learn about. But yeah, you learn that this guy got like the highest honor of CIA, but obviously they can't like do it in the moment. So what really happened is, in real life, the Canadian government took credit for it and said that they did this entire thing themselves to get Americans home. And so, because the U.S. government couldn't like say that we took part in it, because then Iran would be like pissed. Like, first off, people got away. Second, like, U.S. fucked us, so they didn't want their hostages to get killed. So Canada took the credit, and so like they gave Tony Mendez, the actual CIA operative, like a very high medal, but it was a private ceremony that they literally gave him a medal and then took the medal back, because they're like, well, you can't take the medal home because like people will know what it's from. So it took like 25 years later until it was actually like officially announced to like the world, like, hey, this is actually what happened, and he got like legit recognition for his whole thing. But yeah, this like I said, Ben Affleck directed this movie, and he did not get nominated for Best Director, but it won Best Picture, which was something that was kind of interesting. Like, how does the director not even get a nod for the best movie? But whatever. So yeah, that was like a big thing. This came out 2008, I want to say it might have been.
It was 2012.
Oh, it was 12.
I was 11, but yeah, 12 sounds better. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this movie definitely, like I said, it felt like, I'm pretty sure it's the 70s as a decade this took place.
Yeah, it was like the end of 70s.
Yeah, it feels like that. Like the camera work, the like kind of grainy at times, like the costume of everybody, like I thought was really well done. yeah, like a lot of them had those funky ass haircuts and like porn star mustaches and stuff like that. The feel of this movie was really, really good. Like, shout out to them for that. And like I said, he won Best Director. He definitely deserved it. It was a very intense movie, especially towards the end as they're trying to go through the customs and get out of there. As at the same time, you're learning that like the kind of rebellion is realizing like, wait a minute, that guy who's like out in public, like we found a picture, he's an American. So it had that suspense, but it wasn't like an action movie of him like going in there and like shooting his way out of it. So all in all, I mean, I did really enjoy this movie. Overall, I gave it an 8.2 out of 10. It's definitely a really good watch. And like I said, the vibe of it was my main thing that I was like, whenever you can nail like a different decade like that and just feel like you're in it, especially when it has like that just grainy, gritty feel at times, the way it's shot, I just really enjoy that.
Awesome. Great. Now I have to redo the thumbnail because I had Fargo in the middle. Nice.
Yeah, I have it literally written in my notes even. I had Argo, and then just some reason in the moment, because I think I tried giving you like 2 ones before it, and like, I've seen those. And then I just said Fargo. And I was like... Which
is kind of funny that it's also another movie. But
yeah, that is a movie.
Yeah, I'm like, I've never seen that movie. I even... Yeah.
Well, all right. The next tasking. All right, Blake.
Yep.
Let's see here.
Yeah, let me see here.
I'm thinking about giving you something a bit different, but I think this could, if pulled off correctly, it could be great. Have you ever seen Blind Spotting?
No.
Okay.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a movie that came out in 2018.
Interesting. Josh.
Hey, what's up?
Give me a moment.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Chill.
It's got a really good movie last time, it seems.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know.
All right. Josh.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I have a movie in mind, but there's potential that you've seen it.
Well, you just got to say those. You got to say that and then have a backup, you know?
Right. So we'll take a shot, you know. Have you ever seen John Carpenter's The Thing?
I have not.
All right. That. I feel like that's one when I'm thinking of like the whole Cinema Sins was started. Back in the day, it was like, need to watch movies that we feel like we probably should. I feel like as someone like you who enjoys horror movies, that this is kind of one that a lot of people point back to as like one of the first good horror movies. And a lot of movies ever since then are kind of copying it or paying homage to it because it did things first. So I feel like that's one. Could it suck because it's really old? Possibly. But as a horror movie
those can
fan,
be fun too.
If
they're bad, old ones, those can be fun even if they're bad, you know?
Yeah, we're prefacing this. It's the old version, right? Because there is 2 versions. There's the 2011 one and then the 82 one.
Yeah, the one with Kurt Russell when he's younger.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think I maybe even said it in that video. I don't know if that's what you just said, but that definitely was a cinema mine. Alex, I got 2 here. There's one that I did research. I know 100% Blake and I have seen this movie. And I looked even, some reason Blake only did a solo review on this one. And I saw it after his recommendation. But I see nothing about you ever being assigned this movie. I'm like, it's a guaranteed good movie. But do I want to do that, you know? I don't know.
After I gave you Arrival?
I know, but there's another movie that I have for both of you. Because I think it just really applies right now. And I think I'm the only one that's maybe seen it. I don't know if you guys have. Have you seen, I'm going to give you that one. Have you seen Office Space?
No.
That's a fun one since we all have grown-up jobs now. Office Space is your movie.
Okay. Office Space. Put it down.
Change of pace, too. I've given you very action-heavy movies the last couple times.
Office Space.
Yeah.
99 or wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they made a remake, I never seen
It's
it.
90s.
Have you seen Office Space, Blake?
I did, yeah.
Jennifer
Assumed you
Aniston
had a
is in
more
it.
chance of seeing it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep,
I see it.
And
Okay.
it should be on streaming. It was. If it's not, that would suck. But
Yeah, that's the
it
other thing.
was.
This blind spotting movie better be on streaming. Because
It
fucking
should
the
be.
last one I watched, I had to pay for. If I have to pay for another
It was
one,
on Netflix when
Nah.
I originally.
Nah. I had to pay for it.
If you
Tired
look
of
up
paying for these
Argo right
movies.
now, it says Netflix.
Nah.
It does.
Nah. It doesn't. It doesn't.
I'm just gonna start giving you Netflix made movies now.
Oh, yeah. The rip. Well, that's going to do it for this video. As always, let us know down in the comments below if you saw any movies that we watched or any of the new ones, what your thoughts are. As always, like the video, subscribe channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.